Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 18th of March. My disclaimer: I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. So what's happening here? Well, I posted on Twitter yesterday the 4 IHS patterns that have broken up on ES and MQ and RTY and YM. And I noted that, every IHS that breaks up or head and shoulders that breaks down, it has effectively 2 targets, and I would generally expect one or the other to be made. The first one is obviously the standard IHS target, which I gave in the 6900 area at the retest of this high, and the second one is in the event that it fails, in which case it goes below the right shoulder and it will generally get back to a retest of the prior low, which of course would be here just above 66.50. I think we may well be going on with option 2. We've got a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed on ES, and that's already reaching the possible near miss target. I'm thinking these inverted head and shoulders may all fail and take us back to the lows, just because obviously the market's heavy, the war is not good news, and it's not ending. We didn't have any negative divergence on NQ or RTY or on YM, but you can see all of those are in danger of failing, although they're not close to failing yet. We need to get below the right shoulder here on ES, and the right shoulder here on NQ, and the right shoulder here on RTY, and the right shoulder here on YM. And we're not close to those yet, but they're very much in danger. And if we can keep going down, then the first couple are going to fail pretty soon. All right. We also have possible 60-minute, weak 60-minute sell signals brewing on DAX and ESTX, and nothing currently on Nikkei, although I would note I've drawn in a line here, and I haven't actually marked it up properly yet. But this is potentially another inverted head shoulders which has broken up. In fact, I would say it is actually. But of course, this can fail too, and I'm thinking it might. Although I would say that the DAX and Nikkei do have RSI 5 buy signal fixed. It's actually a pretty nice. I think it's nicest on NQ. Nope. YM. Right, yeah, this is, if you look at it here on YM, this is actually a really nice bottoming setup. You've got the IHS, takes it back up to the 48,487 area, just below possible double bottom support, but it's not really seeing this anywhere else. And to be honest, the news is bad. The Iran war is not finishing. The NATO are sensibly not getting involved, but that's still not bringing it close to finishing. And it's not clear what the off-ramp for this particular war is going to be. Hey, Doug. So we will see how that goes, but I'm wondering whether all of these inverted head and shoulders, when I posted them on Twitter, I said they will either had to go up to the marked targets or they will fail back into the lows, and I'm thinking these may well be failing back into the lows. We will see how that goes. But you can see that we've covered from the top of the rally yesterday. We've now covered, we've got a little double top that's broken down. That'll basically take us back to the right shoulder low. And we will see whether or not that holds. If it breaks, and generally speaking, we would see a retest this low just above 66.50. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. All right, we are obviously still significantly below the daily middle band. I was wondering whether we were going to reach that, and of course if the IHSs were going to reach target, then we would have given those a full test, but it looks as though they are failing. I'm still on ES March there because this is my ES June, which is not giving me an awful lot to work with, although I'll be forced to switch over to it after Friday anyway. So in terms of signals, we haven't really got anything. We had possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing here, and that played out. No current negative divergence on the hourly chart. Didn't have any negative divergence on the 15-minute chart either. Do we have the IHSs here? They're not quite as nice, but yeah, we got the same ones here. They've broken up, and they may well be failing today. Looking at the Qs, Qs did make it back up to the daily middle band. That's not the usual resistance on the Qs, of course. That's been the 50 DMA in recent days, because this has actually been holding up more strongly than the others, mainly because the war is not really so much of a tech issue, I guess. We'll see how that goes, but at the moment we are possibly failing at the daily middle band. No divergence on the hourly chart, and on the 15-minute chart, no divergence as well. Did we have an IHS there too? Yes, not as nice as the one on the NQ chart, but most definitely still there, and most definitely at risk of failing today. Dire, we never made it back to the daily middle band last time, and we've got lower than that now. I'm thinking this may well fell back to the lows. We do have a double top which is broken down here, and I still haven't marked that in for some reason. I don't know why. So I'll get to that, but I need to remember to do it after the webinar really. But we've got a double top which is broken down here with a target in about the 451 area. I think it's because I've got it marked up on this one. Yeah, 449, 451 area. So if we head back down and retest the lows, I'd be looking to see whether we just resume that downtrend. And we've got obviously an open pattern here too. We've got a head and shoulders which is broken down on SPX with a target in the 65.40 area. In Qs, if we ever get this decline off the ground, we've got a nice looking double top here, but we don't have a shorter term pattern. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart, and hang on a second. Here we had a flag, and that's broken down. If I was to draw in that flag target, which I wouldn't do here because normally I draw in the targets when it doesn't get back through the broken support, and it has got back through it, but that would be down in this area here. Possible overall topping action here. I am wondering whether we're forming a head and shoulders right shoulder here. And if we break down directly from here, I would mark that up because that would actually be a valid pattern. In terms of the hourly chart, no current. Oh, that's not true. All right, we've got an hourly RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and I'm just going to mark that in. So let's say that's a modest addition to what isn't an awful lot of sell signals pointing down today. But we've got a bullish leading day today, and I'm thinking that may fail. And we've got a couple of bullish days next week. That would be the last bullish day this week. Sell signals. All right, so that's looking pretty promising for the downside so far today. Looking at the ES chart, we're down currently 30, pretty much in the last hour. And I'm thinking we may well go down considerably and fail back into those lows today. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at the DAX and Nikkei charts. Here, of course, we've got daily RSI 5 buy signals, and we've had a bit of a rally off the low, but that could be failing. Would this be a head and shoulders if this broke down directly from here? I'd have mixed feelings about it. It would be a low quality one, but yes, it would be. But really, in terms of this pattern here, if not the rest of the market, I'd like to see more of a rally before it broke down for this to be a decent head and shoulders. Don't really have a good pattern forming here. Another possible low quality head and shoulders here. But again, we've got a daily RSI 5 buy signal, which I'm keeping an eye on. We've also got an RSI 14 sell signal on the daily. On Nikkei, which hasn't made the possible near miss target yet. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, I'm going to be writing a post about this because obviously this has been rising quite a lot. We haven't seen big rallies in bonds or gold, but we have seen a big rally in the dollar. Given that the Iran conflict is not looking as though it's anywhere close to ending, and given that this has been the thing that's been going up, this has broken up for a double bottom on the bigger picture with a target in the 104 to 105 area, and I'm thinking it may make that target as the Iran war continues to get worse. So we will see how that goes. But this looks like kind of like a bull flag, which may be about to break up. In terms of the other currencies, again, might be making a short-term low here. Sorry, might be extending lower here, might be topping out on this rally, but there's not a lot to indicate that either way. GBP USD, we've got a nice looking potential lower bottom here if the dollar finds a lot of resistance here, but otherwise we could just continue the downtrend. USD JPY, we've seen a pretty nice looking, what looks like a bull flag. I've got a target on the upside of 162, which I would quite like to get hit. Wouldn't be a bad match necessarily with the DX getting to the 104, 105 area. USD CAD, still got this weird bear flag here, suggesting that, of course, that would generally make target only if the dollar was going down. Watching that with interest, this could be heading back to flag resistance, which I've got in about the 1.375 area. 1.377 area, maybe. Yeah. So looking at Australian dollar, possible double top here. NZUSD, nice continuation of a downtrend. Lovely back test here for this flag. Broke down, back tested, and is failing at the moment. Nice looking little double top to take this back to the lows. I'm thinking we may well be about to see a move up on DX. We shall see. Looking at ZB, obviously we had the head and shoulders. We broke down. We made a target. We've got a little IHS here, which is broken up, but I think this might go the same way as the IHSs. Well, I think it probably will go the same way as the IHSs, and that looks at the way it might well be heading back into a retest of the low. That would be the natural direction here, in my view. And ZN, of course, we've got a head and shoulders which hasn't quite made target yet, and I'd be looking for it to make target then. All right, looking at CL. CL, we've got a little double top here, which was forming yesterday, broke down overnight, and may be about to fail. We are very close to that failing now. In which case, that heads back up into a retest this high here at 102.50 and potentially higher than that. CL is actually the weakest of the oils here. I'm wondering about possible intervention. Heating oil is actually almost back up to this spike high now. And sell signals reached possible near miss target, and I'm going to sign that off later on. On RBOB, we are obviously almost reaching the spike high too. Now, just for comparison, if CL was actually in the same position, it would currently be in about the 117, 118 area. So that is significantly below that. But I'm thinking that might get made. In terms of NG, inverted head and shoulders here hasn't quite failed, but maybe failing. So watching that with interest. GC's seen a little breakdown here. I am not astonished. So I was thinking that may well be the case. This may still overall be a bull flag forming though, setting up a retest of this high here. Looking at SI, slight breakdown here, not as much as the one on gold. Week 60-minute buy signal hasn't reached the possible near miss target. Palladium looks like it's heading back to the lows. Platinum looks like it's heading back to the lows. HG might be having another crack at getting to the bear flag target, a bear flag triangle target, which is basically down here in about 5.61 to 5.62 area. All right, looking at KC. KC having another crack at making the double bottom target in the 308 area, but I'm thinking overall this actually just looks like a bear flag setting up a retest of this low. Looking at sugar, sugar is consolidating and thinking about whether it's going to head up to the IHS target, which would really be a target of the December high here in about the 14.95 area. Looking at CC, looks like a bear flag forming. CT consolidating, might see a bit more retracement here, but I think this is looking fairly promising just because obviously fertilizer prices are being disrupted, and this I think is likely to require fertilizer. Lumber is continuing higher a bit, no longer have a double top set up here, and actually we lost the negative divergence as well. On wheat, we had a double bottom. It broke up and has almost failed. If it does fail completely with a retest of this low, which we're close to, that could be setting up a larger double bottom to set up a retest of that high. On corn, consolidation, possible triangle forming. On soy, we had a double top that's broken down, but has sort of lost interest halfway through at the moment. This does look like a bear flag forming though, so this may actually deliver the target in the 117 to 120.75 area. On ZL, this looks like a bull flag forming. Live cattle, still wondering about another leg down, but I think where we could be about to escape up into a retest this high and possible breakup. Lean hogs, if we see, we've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fix, and if live cattle breaks up, then chances are this is going to go up too. All right, great. In that case, let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. Should be an interesting day. That's a wrap, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right, cheers.